Hey, what's going on? I want to welcome you to the second solutions video that I have that's really going to help you to get out of the quarter life crisis that you're in. So your quarter life crisis might have been triggered recently because you've just gone through like a really serious breakup, or potentially you've just finished university and you're having a really hard time like blending into the real world, okay? You kind of feel like you're being dropped in the deep end, okay? Your life's in crisis. You don't really know where to go from here, and you're sort of a little bit directionless and lost, okay? So if that's the case for you, then you've definitely clicked on the right video, and I'd consider subscribing because I really want to be able to help you in the future. Now, this video is going to be much more solutions orientated. I'm not really going to be going into too much detail on like the specifics of what a quarter life crisis is because you're already in it, okay? I really just want to give you some actionable steps and some real best practices to think about this so that you can have the best life possible, okay? I want you to win. Now, I will just touch briefly on what a quarter life crisis is, just to give some context for the rest of this video. So, what is a quarter life crisis? A quarter life crisis is the anxiety and the stress that goes with like not really knowing the quality and the direction of your life, okay? It stems from this need to be successful at a very young age, and it's the stress from like needing to be like knowing where you're going and knowing your direction and the probability that you're going to be successful between the ages of like maybe 28 and 36, somewhere in that range. So around this time, you're really thinking about money, okay? You're really thinking about your living situation. You're really thinking about relationships, whether it be your friends or your romantic partners or partner, depending on how you roll. But the big pillar that may or may not be there is you may not have a role that has meaning, okay, has serious meaning, a reason for you to get out of bed where you're really passionate about it, a mission that you feel like you're a part of, and it feels like you might need something to go to work that is more than just the money, okay, more than just the killing of time. So when you start to become more aware of these things, a gap becomes exposed from where you're at and where you think you should be, where you need to be sometimes, and how you sort of like compare yourself to others, okay? There's a bit of a feeling of inadequacy. And when this gap is exposed, it generates a lot of stress and anxiety within you. So now that we know what a quarter life crisis is, let's get cracking into some of the solutions to get out of this hell. So there's usually two scenarios that triggers a quarter life crisis when we're talking about romantic relationships. Now the first scenario revolves around like this feeling that you haven't actually found like a quality, decent partner just yet. And you're very anxious about how and when that's going to happen, okay? You've got these questions bubble to the surface on like, when am I going to find this girl, okay? Where is she? So the second situation is you've gone through like a really serious breakup. You're in a long-term relationship for an extended period of time that you might have just fallen into without a lot of like knowledge about the game, and also like you didn't choose a girl from abundance. So because of this, you're not sure how to put yourself out there again, and you're going through the grieving stage. Okay, it's a pretty tough time. Trust me, I know. Anyway, around this time, you have a situation where because you've had one loss, you kind of like take inventory of all other areas of your life, and it triggers your quarter life crisis because you fear that you might actually lose other good things in your life as well. So to fix this, a lot of the solutions are the same, okay? The first thing you need to come to terms with is like have an acceptance for your current life situation, okay? You need to, like, let's say you're in the second category where you've gone through breakup. You need to get through the grieving stage, okay? Like you've just had somebody significant move on from you, or you've moved on from her, and it kind of feels like someone's died, okay? Like they're not part of you anymore. So you need to spend a little bit of time, go through the grieving stage. Maybe not spend more than 3 weeks, okay? But at least do some release work, do some meditation, do some letting go techniques. Start like going through that sadness for a little bit of time, but don't get stuck there. But at least initiate that process. Don't bottle it up, okay? Now, another thing is if you're in the first category, okay, where you haven't actually found that girl just yet, same thing again, acceptance. You need to get to come to terms with that you've probably been pursuing other things that were more important up until now, okay? You might have been pursuing like your job. You might have been pursuing like making good money. You might have been building a business. It might have been doing other things that are more significant and important. And now you've had that sudden shift across, and you're like, oh, okay, now girls are important. I need to do something about this. I want a long-term partner. Again, acceptance of where you're at so that you can launch to the next stage is what we're going to talk about. The next stages is you need to understand that there are millions of girls out there that are exactly what you want, okay? This whole idea of like there's only one girl for me or whatever, this bullshit, there are millions of girls out there for you, okay? Having this abundance mindset drummed into your head by moving to the city, okay? If you're in some sort of weird backcountry town, get out of there. Trust me, I know. Get out of there, get to the city, because when you go out to get sushi, there's a hot girl there. You can't leave your house without there being hot girls around. Having that abundance mindset is a game changer, okay? So acknowledge the fact that there are millions of girls that are your type that are out there. So the part number 3, well, that's 4, 3. You need to get courageous, okay? Once you've gone through the grieving stage, you've got to the level of acceptance. There's actually a chart by David Hawkins. I might insert it here. You get to the level of courage, okay? So now it's time to become more courageous, to work on you, to put yourself out there, but essentially get your ducks in a row, okay? For me personally, this really helps out a lot by having your room or your living area sorted out, your car sorted out, your business sorted out. It don't have to be perfect, but at a stage where it's there's not a whole lot of unfinished projects everywhere. You're exercising, you're eating well, taking pills, so as in like supplements, I should say. You've got other areas of your life sorted out. You're catching up with friends, and you feel like the base is ready for the next step, which is learning cold approach pickup. Okay, so if you don't know what cold approach pickup, essentially what it is your ability to go out and talk to girls that you're attracted to, whether it be in a nightclub or my personal favorite, day game, out in the daytime at the shopping mall. Okay, so I will just touch, there was a point in time when I was actually going to be a dating coach, but then I met up with dating coaches in Brisbane, and I realized that I don't actually have their level of skill set. And also I don't want to work in a nightclub at nighttime, and I did realize it wasn't really a good fit for me, but it was a launching pad for me to get into this because I still want to help men. I just don't want to necessarily be a dating coach, but I'm really, really into the dating coaching scene. But I leave that out of my channel. Anyway, number 4 is learning cold approach pickup. Okay, so when you go and learn to talk to girls, it is the most amazing thing that you can do for you. It's like the most fun and the most challenging thing a guy can do. Okay, it's like there are so many benefits from learning to talk to girls. Okay, your confidence improves. You get to experience real rejection. Okay, over and over and over again, and it starts to harden you. Okay, it starts to give you a real reality check on like, oh, there's girls that don't like me, and like how to actually maneuver around that so that you can be the best version of yourself. Your people skills, man, they go up. Okay, you can read people when they lie to you to their face, when they're not interested. You can read body language. Your ability to project into a camera properly or talking to other people, it just gets better when you go and are forced to learn all tone changes when you're going to learn game. So there's a source that I would encourage you if you're an analytically and logically minded person like me. It's Todd V on YouTube. Okay, he's been doing this for like 20 years. Okay, he was part of RSD back in the day, and he's a credible source, and he lays this thing out better than I could ever do. Okay, because I'm not a dating channel, but a lot of my systems that I use personally are from Todd V. So do check him out. And with that being said, we'll get cracking into the next part of the video. Okay, so my camera battery just died, but the show must go on. So this next section is for all you guys that have been to university. I actually didn't go to university. I actually joined the military fresh out of high school, but I do have some friends of mine that went to uni that actually helped me put together this video. So let's just paint a hypothetical situation. Let's just say that you went to university, not so much because you wanted a job that you're going to be happy about and make good money from it, but more so because you went to university to escape making big life decisions, okay? It was more so like an avoidance strategy, and now the bubble's actually popped. The fantasy's freaking gone now, and you're not really sure what your next move is because you've been dropped into the reality of the real world, okay? The real world out here is a nasty, nasty place, okay? You got to start making decisions for yourself, which is what we'll talk about soon. Now, there are a few things that I want to cover off on that are going to help you out of this rut that you're in. So, the first thing is like to actually acknowledge that you don't know what it is that you want. Okay. You've spent all this time with your upbringing, with your parents, with your school teachers, with the people that taught you at uni, and your friends, also your friends who influence, um, to like push you into this direction that they thought was actually a good fit, but might not have actually been a good fit for you. So, like confronting that uncertainty when that uncertainty hits you, you're like, oh man, I don't know if this is actually a good idea. I'm not really sure. That's actually a good thing. Okay. It's really scary when you're in it. But in hindsight, in the future, when you actually realize that, it could be the best thing for you. Okay. My example is because I actually didn't go through this until much later. Okay, around 26 is when it really hit me, leaving the military, that I didn't actually plan to leave the military properly, and now I'm in this really bad situation. Okay, living with my mother, not having a lot of money. That I'll talk about that in another video. But essentially, the military was like a big dad, and it was a reason for me to not actually grow up and become a man because the military makes all these decisions for you. Okay, so in a way, I like to think for to be able to help you that the military and the university in some ways are actually similar because they're still training people at a young age, and there's a lot of social pressures and um, a lot of like beaten paths for you to take that seem like a good idea, but in reality, over hindsight, in the future, you realize it might not have been the best fit. It could be the best fit, but it might not have been the right fit. It's really hard to tell. It's a real case by case situation. Another thing is you need to recognize this whole go with the flow idea is a complete load of crap. What's the saying? Only dead fish go with the flow. So this whole culture of like follow your heart and you don't really need to work out like who you are at a young age so that you can actually have a good life is a complete, in my opinion, complete bullshit. Okay. You need to ask yourself the right questions at a young age, between the ages of 18 and 22, and start moving your life in the direction that you want it to, because otherwise you're going to get to 30, 35, 40, quarter life crisis, midlife crisis. That's what we're talking about here. And it's not going to work out for you. Work this out earlier. What's that saying? Prior preparation and planning prevents piss poor performance. This is one of those things, okay? So forget about this idea of going with the flow and doing what your friends do. Create a plan. Your forward planning sucks, okay? We talked about why it sucks. You need to start to work out how you're going to get better at planning ahead. Um, not doing so much of this go with the flow sort of stuff, and also seeking help, okay? Go and find people that are done or are doing what it is that you want to do that'll be able to guide you in that direction. Okay, I know this sounds like a sales pitch right now because I'm a mentor, but it's true. All people that have ever made it like serious in their life had a mentor or a coach to get them there. Another way of looking at it, here's the thing: you went to university because you believed that university had the information that you needed to do and learn so that you could be successful in the real world. Okay, how's that working out for you? Okay, it might be working out, it might not be working out, wherever you are on that spectrum. But you've already got it in your head that you need help. But it sometimes is a bit hard to seek help when it's not so obvious, like schooling, university, or some sort of government thing, or potentially go and get help from somebody who is not mainstream, like myself, for instance. Okay. Because it seems a little bit like, oh, there's this dude on the internet that might be able to help me, but I'm not really sure. I get it. I get it. I feel the same way sometimes too. Anyway, the next point is to discover your core values. Okay. Might be a time when you start to meet somebody like myself. Okay, you go through your interests, you ask yourself deep questions, you have somebody that's on your side, fighting in your corner, that's going to be able to get you to work out what your purpose is and what your mission is actually. Essentially, it boils down to what it is that you want and how can you construct a small plan or like a rough plan or a no plan to actually make it happen. So they're essentially the steps, man. Okay. If you're at a stage in your life where you think that you are willing to think outside the box and go and get somebody that is done what it is that you want to do, okay, or you're picking up what I'm putting down, then by all means reach out to me on Instagram, okay? I'll leave a link in the description. If you like this sort of content, I want to be able to help you as much as I can. Hit the subscribe button because I've actually got a third part in the series that's coming up soon. And if you want to go to that straight away, click it right there. Have a good one.